Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, India is considered to be tectonically very active in the north, in the Himalayas, but in the south, in the very old part of the peninsula, it's rather tectonically inactive. It's mostly a crater. However, if we check at the coasts, let's see, go into the small details, we shall find something very interesting. The location where we go, where I introduce you now, is Mahabalipuram. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site where last year Prime Minister Modi and the President of China has met. This is a coastal, so-called shore temple, a coastal shrine of a Hindu shrine built in the 8th century. And we shall check a smaller part of this. We shall check the church, the temple itself, a small well next to the church, some very strange collapsed parts in the thing, and a bridge here in the field coast. Yes. So let's see what to have. This is the site. This is the temple is relatively very small, but this is the size of the 8th century buildings. They have very much. It's built of granite blocks with granite masonry, built without cement. Today it's very well restored, but checking with old photos, like built in the made in late 19th century, we can see that the blocks, some of the blocks has been displaced in various directions, like exactly at the top of the building, the topmost masonry block has been shifted very severely to the southwest. There are some parts blocks are broken, like this lintel above the eastern gate has been broken. This is significant. It's like 50 centimeter rock. It's a very, very strong block, and it was just broken into two. Why did this happen? We shall see. Now we are collecting data to prove that there was some tectonic activity, seismic activity, earthquake in the past. We shall see first the evidence for this seismic shaking, and we'll see what comes out of this. The temple is at the seashore. It's a peninsula protected by a dam, an artificial dam, a recent artificial dam to protect this ancient monument. But formerly it was built on an island, and there was a canal, a channel between the island and the mainland towards us. So the island, the land was protected by a seawall. There was a bridge connecting to the island to the sea. This is the seawall. What can you see here? There are several rows of stones which are connected to each other to protecting the landwards, the side. It's a sandy, quite soft soil to protect it from the incoming waves. There is a bridge, remnants of a bridge crossing it. Only the bridge heads on both sides are available. The bridge itself is already missing, and a canal between, which was crossed by the bridge, but this canal is on dry land. It's never ever buried by the sea anymore. This is the sea wall. You can see this function. It's a very specific form of stone which connects the stones itself. Actually, it makes the crystalline rock, the granulate slabs, resistant against the sucking force of the retreating waves. But again, the seawall is it's a bit higher than the sea level today, because it's much higher. The bridge, what you see here, it's again, people can walk here in the channel. Means this channel is not buried by the sea. Here is the bridge, the two-fold, and the underlying canal is on dry land now. There are some strange buildings here in the left. Which are not buildings, actually just remnants of buildings, which are obviously built later than the seawall. It's built on top, but they are not horizontal. They are just distorted, inclined in various directions. This is a bit tilting. This is 45 degrees, and this part is practically vertical. A row of bricks, several rows of bricks connected, which are today vertical. This kind of displacement of buildings is typical when a building is subsiding into sand, which behaves like liquid due to the liquefaction. Liquefaction is a seismic feature. It's created by by earthquake, when the water-saturated soil behaves like liquid and everything what's on top is just sinking into it, be it people or buildings. So what we found, the temple was damaged in the first earthquake, we suggest. We found a seawall and a canal which is dysfunctional today. It was an uplift, and then followed in the dry sand the liquefaction which produced by an second earthquake. So this seems to be, despite being the margin, the seaward margin of a crater, it's a seismically very active area. When did it happen? How much time do we have for this all kind of tectonic activity? Let's see the well near the temple. The temple, this is the well, which is a holy well, a very important part of these Shiva temples in India. The temple was built by King Rajasimha in the early 8th century. And the well was shallow. Then something happened. The well, of course, goes down to the groundwater level. Today, it's like 2 meters deep, reaching groundwater level. Here, it is you can access fresh water here, despite the island is very, very small, but there is still a freshwater lens on the island, so we can have here. But it's today. It means that the canal and the bridge was uplifted before this well, the rejuvenated well, was built again. So it is still operating today, and this well marks like at least 1 meter uplift of all the island, so that now the well is 2 meters deep. Now, so to make a kind of a summary, we find here an archaeological record of coastal uplift, which happened in the early 8th century during the rule of King Rajasimha in between 700 and 728. The seawall, the bridge and canal were built for a higher relative sea level, for the sea level at that time, because all of them are dysfunctional now, has been raised, uplifted. Then all the island, everything, the bridge, the canal was uplifted, the well, the church temple was uplifted. So the well, to remain functional, it had to be deepened, to put deepen again, to reach the modern level. It means that today, this is the tidal range next to the island. The tidal range was much higher, relatively higher in the 8th century, at least 1 meter higher. So we can see that in the early 8th century, there was at least 1 meter uplift, which was probably produced by an earthquake. So it was a rapid uplift, because this rapid uplift again damaged the church, broke some of the blocks, shifted some of the blocks. So this is our story. It's a very simple story. Just we proved a seismic and earthquake-induced tectonic uplift of the east coast of India near Mahabalipuram in the early 8th century. Thank you very much.